Hello, hello. Welcome back to Peak Northwest, an outdoors and travel podcast by the Oregonian and OregonLive, dedicated to the adventure and exploration of our beautiful Pacific Northwest. I'm Jamie Hale.
And I'm Vicki Connor. Together, we take you to some of the most beautiful and interesting destinations in our region, discussing where to go, what to do, and places to see. And today, we're taking another cycling trip across Oregon, this time with our colleague and regular guest, Oregonian trending news reporter, Lizzy Acker. Lizzy, welcome back to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Lizzy, we've had you on here before to talk about car-free travel. I think even about some cycling in the past. But you have just recently done some really big time cycling, as I understand, some really big time stuff.
Well, I did. I went on a 100-mile bike ride with my dad because
Wow. Sounds like so much.
It does. And then I did it. So I'm like, well, it can't have been that much because I did it, but it was a lot. Well, I turned 40 last year and I had this goal of riding my bike 100 miles before I turned 40. And my dad and I had signed, my dad is obviously much older than 40. So congrats to him. We had signed up for a organized ride that was about 2 days before my birthday. So it was perfect. It was gonna be 100 miles. And then I got sick the day before, which was a major bummer. We did still ride it, but we only went 70 miles. So, not the whole thing, whatever.
Okay.
It's just a number, but on the other hand, it's you set this goal. And I felt a little bad when we did do this ride this year, because it was up until our recent heat wave, the hottest day of the year. And it was I'm making my dad, who's in his 60s, do this. But then I remembered all the times when we were hiking when I was a kid where he'd be like, oh yeah, we're almost there, guys. And it would be, 2 more miles straight up a mountain. So I got it from him. I got it from you, Dad.
Well, tell us about this ride. Where was it? When were you doing it? What are the specs?
Yeah, so like I said, the last year the one we did was this totally supported ride. It was put on by OR Bikes, and this time we just decided to do it ourselves. So not supported, which if you're supported means people are giving you snacks and drinks and stuff, and making sure you're okay. So it was just me and my dad, and we kind of took a route around Portland. So I started at my house and rode my bike to his house at 5 a.m. And this was in July. And we'd been keeping our eyes on the weather. And yeah, it was I think it was forecasted at 93 that day, and it got up to at least 95. So that was my mom actually in the morning, I got to my parents' house, which is say 2 miles from my house. And my mom basically made us say we wouldn't do it. She's like, you can just go on the ride, but you can't go 100 miles today. There's no way, it's not safe, blah, blah. Okay, sorry, I shouldn't say blah, blah. It's true, it's not safe, if you're not being careful. But so my dad and I had kind of agreed we wouldn't do 100 miles to my mom. But, it was 5 a.m. So we ended up, at that point, we rode out. We got to the Springwater corridor. We went out to towards Milwaukee. I think that's where we went. And then so our one plan was to get to Sugarpine Drive-In, which I love.
Mm-hmm.
And we had ordered food the night before because it's it was the weekend. If you know anything about that place, it's going to take a long time to get your food, and we didn't have a long time to wait. So we had our food was going to be ready at 11:30 or something like that at Sugarpine. So that was our only thing. We're okay, Mom, we're going to just go to Sugarpine and then we'll come back. Well, so to get to Sugarpine, it's still a long ways. It was 60 miles by the time we got to Sugarpine. We rode down one of my favorite, I think my favorite bike path at this point in Portland is along Marine Drive on the Columbia. Have either of you guys ridden that path?
No.
Surprisingly,
I
have ridden that part of that path before. It's very nice.
It's just so great. I love it. I don't know. It took me several years, actually many years, to really discover it. And now I'm always like, why isn't this teeming with bicyclists? Because you can ride along that. Then you have to get back up on Marine Drive, which, isn't ideal. There's trucks and stuff and a lot of debris, but we have good tires. That's part of biking in Portland. I think you have to have tires. Otherwise, you're just going to get flats all the time.
I've learned this the hard way, yes.
Yeah, me too. So you go down Marine Drive, and then you can ride out to Troutdale, which is one of my favorite things to do, and that's where Sugarpine is. So we got to Sugarpine right on time. It wasn't super hot yet. Our water, for example, wasn't hot yet. We had enough water, and then we ended up like filling our own water bottles at drinking fountains. Later we went back to spring water. So we had our lunch. We'd already gone 60 miles. So the options at that point were like basically go straight down Halsey, which isn't very fun, but is like 4 miles home. Well, maybe no, it's still 10 miles home. So no matter what, we're gonna go 70. And we were like, but we're so close. When you already got 60, it's only 40 more miles. It wasn't that hot yet. We couldn't. I mean, partially I was like, I don't want to do this again. Like I really like a 50-mile bike ride. I think that's like my sweet spot. After that, it gets a little it's a little tedious, and also like it's not comfortable. No matter how like in shape you are, it's like your butt hurts, your feet hurt. Anyway, obviously I'm his child, so I blame him. And we were like we adjusted our path. We were gonna go all the way out to Boring on the Springwater. We were gonna go through. Well, first we were gonna go through like Gresham to Boring and then back to Springwater. So instead, we were like, well, we'll just do more on the Springwater that's closer to town. So if we need to bail, we can get on a bus or something. So we ended up doing the Gresham Fairview Trail. Then we went out on the Springwater a little ways and then came back. And we had lots of snacks. Oh, I totally forgot. We also went in the morning. It must have been in the morning. Yeah, we had gone out to Smith and Bybee. We saw some like this whole bird watching group out there. I think Jamie, you wrote about them, and I was like, we were just like sitting there listening to their like. Anyway,
the Guerra Bird Club. You saw the Guerra Bird Club out there?
I think so.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, if anyone wants to hear more about the Guerra Bird Club, you can listen to our previous podcast with their founder. But digress, Lizzy, please continue.
Anyway, I had never been to Smith and Bybee either. Yeah, my dad. It's funny because like I like to ride down the Marine Drive to Troutdale. Like that's my jam, and my dad likes to go the other side. So we kind of were like showing each other our favorite places to bike, and I don't know. It got really, really hot. I'm not gonna swear, but by the end, so the last 10 miles were very challenging, and we got super lucky because we were like where I live is like on a mountain. No matter what, as I have discovered riding my bike, like no matter what, at the end of a bike ride, you have to get up Alameda Ridge. And I'm always looking for like the easiest way up, but there isn't an easy way. There's easier ways. So yeah, we had to climb a mountain basically. Then my dad gets to go downhill, but there were these like teen boys selling lemonade. And at this point our water was just hot. It was like 95 degrees. We were in pain. And these boys took Venmo. I was like so grateful because I didn't have any cash. Are you kidding me? So yeah, we got like this raspberry lemonade, I think it was, from some boys outside of a Catholic school down by Ladd's Addition. And that saved us. We put the ice in our water bottles, and then we slowly rode back up the mountain. And we made it 100 miles. And then my dad went home to get the last 2 miles. And I was like, that last 10 miles was very hard. Later, I went over to my parents' house for dinner because that was our plan. And my dad was like, the last 50 miles were hard, Lizzy. Sorry. I was a little concerned. My dad is amazing. He's in such great shape. And then I was like, what if I like kill my dad? Like that's going to be, my mom's going to be so mad. She told us not to do this. And then we did it. But like the next day, we were both surprisingly okay. Like I was tired, but, and I had been worried because I didn't train as much as I did last year. Like this summer, I don't know, Vicky, or before this, you were talking about all the things you were doing like this weekend, and I just feel like this summer has been so fun. Like there's, you just want to do all the things that you haven't done in years. Whereas like last summer, still it was a little bit COVID-y, and I had a lot more time to just ride my bike. Um, so anyway, it was super fun, super fun. I'll do. Well, I really like to ride 50 miles. I like to ride out to Edgefield and get like a treat and then ride home.
So, Lizzy, what is like the morale like during this ride from start to finish? Obviously, you're saying the last ones are, it's really hard, but the last few
Yeah.
miles. But how does that kind of change over time of the course of the day in this ride?
Well, I think my dad and I both like egg each other on a little bit, like I said. So, like um I I knew in the morning, actually, as I was riding over to my parents' house, you kind of know, like, I was like, this is a good day for me to ride my bike. Like, I feel like I'm in it. Just like 2 weeks before that, I'd ridden 50 miles and I'd been like, this is so hard. It's just like how your body is. Like, one day is like the right day. And that was like the right day. So that was part of it also why I wanted to do it. Because I was like, I can do it today. I know I can do it today. Um, so I felt like surprisingly good the the whole time. And my dad and I were talking. Usually if I'm riding by myself, I'm listening to music, and it's a little more fun to talk. And also, like, I ride a little slower. We were riding a little slower, so I wasn't as gassed as I sometimes I go too fast, and then I'm like, wow, because I really like to go fast. But then it's harder to go as long. Yeah. But I feel like we kept it up pretty well. And then we got this delicious lunch. And I know the owner of Sugarpine. I played soccer with her like since I was in middle school. And she was there because she's like always there. So it was cool to see her in the middle of it and just have someone be like, "Oh wow, that's awesome what you're doing." Needed that, support. But
For sure, for sure.
yeah. And then when I got home, Nona, my daughter, was holding a sign she had made that said like "Good work, Mom," which was very sweet.
Oh.
I know.
Lizzy, what is your order at Sugarpine?
Oh, well, we both got pulled pork sandwiches, sliders or something. The like the savory menu is not like huge. So that's pretty much like what was there. I would get whatever they have. Honestly, whatever they have is good. And if I'm hanging around, I would have obviously gotten soft serve. I think we were just like
Obviously.
so exhausted that we didn't. Or like it was like we wanted to get going, but like I mean, I would go there just for soft serve. I do go there just for soft serve. Not a hypothetical.
So, aside from Alameda Ridge, is it mostly flat during this ride? Were there other real big pushes?
There was a big one at the beginning, a big hill, and I'm trying to remember exactly where it was, but it was like um after Milwaukee, like around. I'm trying. Where did we go? But that was my dad's part of the ride too. But like we took, there's the trolley trail, and we ended up going up a big hill out there, and that was okay because it was early, and I was like, I can do this. And then I'm generally like, I don't like hills. I like
Yeah.
to ride a long distance, flat long distance. So, and I think Portland actually you can do that. And I will definitely ride 50, like an extra 20 miles to not have to go up a hill. I can show you the routes around Portland that have the least amount of hills. Like I would rather ride my bike an extra hour than like push up a hill. So
Yeah.
yeah, I pretty much made it as flat as possible.
No leg cramping at all?
No, I was really surprised. Like I just even like my feet and hands hurt at the end, like my hands from being in that position.
Yeah.
Um, but which I was a little surprised by because I guess I hadn't thought about that before. Even though I have ridden 70 miles before, I guess like 100 is a little longer. And my feet also hurt, but I also need to get my shoes and my clips adjusted. They hurt after I go 15 miles, so that I don't know. So It was fun. It was really fun, and I don't have to do it again, except that, well, I guess I'm I'm going to go on another long bike ride in a few weeks. So
Well, tell us about that. I know we talked a little bit off air, I guess you can call it, about your next big cycling adventure coming up, Cycle Oregon, right?
yes, so it's the final Cycle Oregon Classic ride, which is sad because I've never done it before. And Cycle Oregon is basically like a yearly multi-day tour somewhere in Portland, um, on bikes. And when I was a kid, my parents did it, and I always like wanted to do it. So then I got this opportunity to do it this year for work, and then later found out it was the last one. And I'm only going to be able to do one day of it, which is kind of a bummer. But um, that's like a 75-mile day with a lot of elevation, so it's going to be okay. I'm going to do the first day. Um, I think there's 6 days. Let me just look, just so I know exactly how many days there are. Oh, I guess there's 7 days. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a 7-day ride. And I'm gonna do the first day. I'm gonna go the night before, take the bus. So it starts this year in Albany, and then it's kind of going through parts of wine country, the coast. It looks like a really cool route. Um, but the first day is going to be Albany to Carlton, which is 74 miles with 1,810 feet of elevation gain. So not like terrible.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I think that's basically flat compared to some of the other days, which is like 4,000 feet of elevation gain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And is your dad joining you on this ride as well?
He's not. I tried to get him
No.
to, but my dad and my mom have a bridge tournament they have to go to, which they love bridge more than bicycling now. Wow. Thanks for nothing. But yeah, I'm just so excited to do it. And also, I guess I was kind of like, I was gonna try to do 4 days, but then I still feel bad leaving my child that long. So it's probably for the best.
Lizzy, remind us when Cycle Oregon is.
Well, the first day is September 10th, Sunday, September 10th.
Okay. So we
Yeah.
have a few weeks between now and then. What other
Yeah.
kind of like prep, both mentally, physically, is going on?
That is a really good question, Vicky. And I would like to. I was in Michigan for a month, and my plan was to ride my bike and train, which is part of the reason why I'm like, it's probably okay that I'm only going to do one day. I did ride a bike a lot, but it wasn't my bike. It was and I was riding like 2-3 miles at a time and also pulling the trailer. It was hard. Don't get me wrong. The bike wasn't a great bike. No offense to the people that lent it to me, but I didn't train like I wanted to train, so that's good because I should probably get on that like stat. I think what I'll probably do is ride like 20 to 50 miles a couple times a week.
Yeah.
I think that's generally fine, because I don't want it to be too easy. And I don't have the other thing is I don't know, it takes so long to ride. Like even 50 miles is like that's 4 hours. Because you're going to stop, you're going to whatever. You never know. And then, of course something breaks on your bike at some point, so then that's like 10 hours of your life. But so it's hard to when you like say have a full-time job and like you need to cook dinner or whatever. You don't need to, but yeah, pick someone up from childcare. Yeah, it's hard to ride really long. Though I'm doing it for work, so I guess I can train for work too, right? You guys think that's right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely how it works. I think so. But Lizzy, I mean, you did the 100 miles. Do you feel like since you did that, especially so recently, are you like 75? I got this. No problem. No big deal.
I maybe like a little bit, which is probably the wrong way to feel. But I do think like it's going to be a group. There's some momentum that carries you along with that, and it's going to be like a new place. Well, I mean, I know Albany, whatever, but I've never done this ride in this area, and that's going to be really fun. And this is another fully supported ride. So there's like snack stops and food and, entertainment. And so I think a lot of it is also the experience of like being there and being with the people there. So as long as I'm not like in excruciating pain, I do think 75 miles is totally doable.
And have you done a ride with a big group ride like this before and like experienced this type of energy with riding with a lot of other people?
Yeah, well, last year when we did the group ride we ended up not doing 100 miles. Yeah, we did that. I've also done the bridge pedal. And when I was a kid, I think I did a couple rides, but the bridge pedal is really fun. Have you guys ever done the bridge pedal?
No.
No.
Oh, it's cool. I highly recommend it. It's a lot of people and it can be kind of slow at times, but there's something totally wild about riding your bike along the Markham Bridge. Like, what? It's crazy. It's so weird to ride your bike on the freeway. But also like then you're like, wow, why do they get the freeway? We should have the freeway. The freeway for the bikes. That's what I say.
Lizzy, do you know how many people are participating in Cycle Oregon? Are there like different start times on the day that you are doing it?
I think it's all the same start time, and I do not know how many people. They cap it at a certain number, and I have no idea. I'm sorry, I can't answer that question. I haven't done all of my research. I should be doing that like right now to write about this because I'm gonna write about it.
That's all right. Your deadline's not now. It's fine.
Yeah.
It's not now.
If anyone's dying to know how many people are participating in Cycle Oregon, you'll find out at a later date in Lizzy's future story.
That's right. Lizzy, I did want to circle back real quick. I mean, talking about that 100-mile trip with your dad, it just strikes me that's like a really cool thing to do, like with your dad, especially as you're both getting older, you have a child of your own now. I guess I wanted to know a little bit more about that experience. Like, was that a special moment to be able to have this like centennial ride with your dad?
Yeah, totally. I mean, my dad is amazing. I love my dad. He's always been a good dad. And it's something that we both love to do is ride our bikes. And when I was younger, my dad and I would also go on like backpacking trips together. He used to coach my soccer team. We've had that connection of like, we like to do like physical things, outdoor things, which I'm sure I got from him and my mom also. I mean, my parents met on a cross-country ski trip. So, we were an outdoorsy, active family, I guess. But yeah, it's super fun and it's really special. And it also makes me think my dad was a lot younger than I was when I had my baby. Obviously he didn't have me, but he was like 24 and I was like 37. So I'm like, I don't know if I will be able to ride. I want to be able to ride 100 miles with Nona when she's 40, if that was something she wanted to do. So it really makes me think about that. And like, I gotta stay in shape for that. And also maybe I need it. Maybe I'll be riding an e-bike, but I'll be there if she'll have me.
Awesome. Well, Lizzy, obviously, people can read all about your Cycle Oregon trip, your continual, car-free travel stuff on OregonLive.
I'm going to come up with some new car-free trips, I think, for the fall. I really want to go to Bend. But if anyone has any other ideas, send them my way.
Well, I'm about to go to the coast on the bus, inspired by your coast bus experience. Yay! I'm going to do that this weekend, actually.
Oh, good.
So thanks for the inspiration. So Lizzy is obviously on OregonLive in the Oregonian and has her own podcast, Why Though, which you can get via Oregonian's podcast, Beat Check. Is that right?
Yep.
And what else can you tell us about Why Though? It comes out weekly?
It comes out weekly. The podcast comes out weekly, and so does the column. And you can just go to OregonLive.com/Why Though for like all past columns, all past podcasts. And I'm always looking for really juicy advice questions. So if you have any personal, this isn't related to biking at all, just like, emotional problems, just send it my way.
Awesome. Well, Lizzy, thank you so much for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, folks. Well, until next time, you can watch our videos on the Oregonian's YouTube channel and view all of our travel and outdoors coverage on OregonLive.com/travel, as well as hereIsOregon.com.
Please leave us a rating or review if you enjoy the show. And if you want to support this podcast as well as our local journalism, please consider a subscription to Oregon Live. You can find details at OregonLive.com/pod support. Also, if you're a fan of the show and you're interested in potentially sponsoring it, you can get in touch with our marketing people at advertise@Oregonian.com. This episode of the show is produced by me, Vicki Connor, alongside Jamie Hale.
Stay safe and happy travels, everyone. Until next time, we leave you with this 10 seconds of Zen.